You have to truly believe in the magic.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome to this week's episode of Penny for Your Thoughts, the Orlando Magic UK's podcast. Today is Star Wars Day, so May the 4th, Thursday. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs and what we've seen thus far. And we'll get to know a fellow Magic fan that I was lucky enough to bump into in Orlando in January. So without further ado, let's just go around the table and say hello to everyone. Mr. Clark, you survived Wales on the weekend.
I did.
You good?
This is the way. Yeah, May the 4th be with you. Yeah, we had a good catch up, didn't we? Kids had a good day, and
You did.
that's all that matters, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And how are things up north, Mr. Gary?
Hello there. There's a Star Wars one for you as well. Yeah,
Hello there.
Good. It's always good in the north.
Is that all we're going to have tonight? Is it Star Wars? Oh, there we go.
Hello there.
You good, mate?
Yeah, always, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. Are Sunderland going to make the playoffs?
It's a tough ask. We'll see what happens. I've always got the life motto, G, is if I have low expectations, I'm never disappointed.
That's it. And our guest this week, Howard Thomas. How are we, How?
I'm good, thanks, G. Very nice to be on. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome, mate. Very welcome. So before we get to know Howard, we'll just run through some of the usual housekeeping bits that we always do. But before we do that, don't forget that on Saturday, the 15th of July, we'll be hosting our first Orlando Magic UK meetup. So if you fancy joining us, it'll be in Mansfield. We'll be going for a few beers, a curry, just having a general catch up with all Magic fans across this little country of ours. So yeah, if you haven't reached out to us, please just drop us a DM and we'll add you to the list and send you all the details. Another important date to remember is just over a week away right now. That's Tuesday, the 16th of May, the NBA Draft Lottery. And once again, we're going to be hosting a live watch party as we've done the last 2 years. If you'd like to register your interest, and Mikey will send you all the details of where to go on the evening, head to orlandomagic.uk.com/watch party to sign up. So hopefully we get a bit more lottery luck and it'll be a memorable night. So this is the part we normally do Magic news, but it's been a bit of a quiet week in the world of the Orlando Magic this week. So we thought the best thing to do was to get another UK fan on. So here we are, Mr. Howard Thomas from Tunbridge Wells. As I mentioned, I was lucky enough to meet him at a couple of the games. I think it was the Celtics game I first met you. Was it, How?
That's right, yeah.
That's it. And you were out there with your wife, Carenza.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, we were doing the second part of a road trip. So catching, I think it was 4 games we got. So yeah, all good. All good.
That was it. So tell us, how did your Magic fandom begin? How often do you frequent games? And I hear maybe a season tickets in.
Yeah. It started actually taking the kids to Disney World. And my brother-in-law was out there and he said, I'll bring them over. So we did. He knew I was a sports nut. So he said, you've got to come and watch some basketball. And I'd sort of followed it at a distance, but not properly. So I was aware of MJ and Magic, etc. back in the day. So off we went to the Amway. In fact, I've just dug out the Magic Game Day program, and it was the 26th of March 2010. And we beat the Nuggets 103-97. So yeah, that's where it all started. Followed it sort of pretty closely thereafter, and for the last few years, I've been going probably once a year for 3 to 4 games. Where it fitted in with the family schedule, and I've been allowed to get away. So I've been doing that usually on my own. And then as the girls got a little bit older, Karen said, yeah, I'll come this time. So I had to make an effort to make Orlando as interesting as possible, just in case the Orlando Magic wasn't the centre of her world as it is mine. So we did quite a good job, and luckily she seems to have fallen for it. And of course, she bumped into you in the in the Magic shop, and we got chatting, and so it's a very successful couple of trips that we've done this year. So I think I've managed to hook another one in, and that's as you mentioned the season tickets. We thought, well, we probably can get over maybe 3 times a year, maybe get to 15 games if we're lucky, depending on schedules. And not sure the book's quite balanced, but we'll see how we do. We'll see how we do. So
and you also watch the NCAA when you're over there, don't you?
If I can, yes, yeah, exactly. I'm a Duke fan, so I've been following them for a few years, and watch it quite closely. So I was hoping to get to that because of course the first round was at the Amway, but our plans changed, so we didn't quite make that. But that's another thing to follow. So it makes the draft more interesting, doesn't it? If you've watched a bit over the course of the season, you've got 1 or 2 ideas, usually completely wrong, but occasionally you spot a nugget. So that's where we come from.
But when we have the watch party, we normally kind of go around the room and say, who do you want? So we'll come to you, and hopefully you'll be able to give us some insight into the prospects.
Well, being a Dookie, you were all over Paolo then last
exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, although actually I probably would have been sort of 50-50 him and Jabari, whether I was just being swayed by the media, I don't know, but I definitely think we made the right decision there, didn't we?
Anyone you've got your eye on for the late lottery?
I mean, I think there's 2 or 3. The guy that seems to be rising quite a lot is Taylor Hendricks, the UCF forward, who apparently is quite a solid shooter, decent defense. We did actually see UCF while we were out there and saw him, and he was great for about 3 minutes and then totally disappeared. So it'd be quite fun to have a UCF guy on the roster, but I think presumably they've done some pretty decent due diligence as he's been around the corner. So he's a possibility. Other than that, I mean, I quite like Hawkins, the UConn guard, who was draining threes all over the place in the tournament. Whether he's what we want, I don't know. But as you guys have been discussing over the last few weeks, we could do with some shooting, couldn't we? So I think that's where I'd be targeting my resources. But I mean, I hope we don't mess around too much. I mean, I'd like to give us another year. I'd like to be patient and see what we've got with the big 2, as it were. If Paolo's a 30-point scorer, then that answers a big question. If his 3% of his efficiency picks up, then we're laughing. Franz is Franz, and then I think some of the other bits and pieces you need to see how they settle. Mm-hmm. How does that 3-guard rotation work? There's a lot to be happy with, and I wouldn't want to rush too much. The Fred VanVleet rumors worry me a little bit that we're going to overpay and slightly block ourselves on that one. But I guess we'll see. It's going to be an exciting month or 2 while we see it all unfold.
Brady Dick could solve those problems for us.
Well, you've been saying, but certainly sell his free shirts.
He's already got 1 sale, maybe 2.
Exactly.
I think G will get one as well.
Yeah, I probably would too, if I'm honest.
That's 3. Mikey, you gonna go for it?
No, I'm going to go for Boner in the second round.
Didn't know if you were a U2 fan, So you were over some trips in the 22-23 season. So can you tell us about them? We're hearing 2 and meant to be 3 trips.
Yeah, we went over in November for the 7-game homestand. So we saw all 7 of those, which was brilliant. Unexpectedly brilliant in many ways, wasn't it? Because we won the games we shouldn't and lost the games we should. And then we went back in January when we caught up with G there. So slightly different because I think expectations were a little bit more in the January trip because we got through that horrendous start. Paolo was beginning to be Paolo. Markel was beginning to hit his straps. So it was really, really exciting. Unfortunately, we didn't make the 3rd trip, but that would have been actually looking at what we missed. But we didn't miss a lot because we'd begun to take our foot off the gas and injuries had slightly taken their toll. So I think that would have been a bit disappointing. But so I think we ended up, just checking my notes. Yeah, we ended up with a 6-5 record, so we're just over 500, which was nice. Yeah, and yes, I mean, saw I mean, being a sort of general NBA fan, I think it's always great to see the superstars in the opposition as well. It's quite nice. I'd never seen Steph live before. I think I've seen most others, but I've never seen Steph. So that Warriors game was absolutely fantastic. If you couldn't have scripted it better. Steph scores 39 and we win. It doesn't get better than that. And obviously with Jalen hitting those threes in the fourth quarter, and I think that was the game of the season for us that we saw. I think
we must have just missed you then, Howard, because we were at the same game.
There was a crossover, yeah.
Yeah,
we were there for the same games.
So,
were you? Yeah.
That was a hell of a game. That Steph Curry performance, as was the other night against the Kings. But we'll get on to that later.
Yeah.
So Howard, let's talk about the current roster. What do you make of the construction of what John and Jeff have put together so far, and what's your 5 main players you consider the building blocks that we're moving forwards with?
For me, really exciting. I mean, I think the big two is obvious, isn't it? I mean, you're going to run with that. I think the key is Paolo a 30-point scorer? Is he going to be a dominant force? I think if we can get his free throw shooting to 80% and is still going to the line 8-9 times a game, you're laughing. If you can get his 3-point shooting into the mid-30s, that probably does it. At least, people aren't going to just let him go. I think Franz will probably develop again as a second man. I mean, do they become the sort of Tatum and Brown in terms of scoring potential? I think we need another year to really see that. So I think that's why I preach patience. So obviously very happy with that court. I love Wendell Carter. I think defensively, the difference with him on and off the court last season was chalk and cheese, wasn't it? I mean, just fairly disastrous without him. But is he going to play more than 60 games a season? So you do need backup. So I think JI is obviously we all hope that, but it's becoming a hope with a very small h these days, isn't it? Sadly, but he looked great for the whatever it was 3 or 4 games we saw him for. So I mean, if you could credibly get him as a 20-25 minute backup, then you're laughing. You still haven't addressed shooting. And then you've got the 3 guards. For me, Markel is number 1 by a mile, which I know G will be happy with. And then Cole and Suggs. I mean, Suggs, I think you've got to give him time. I mean, young point guards, young combo guards, young shooting guards, whatever, young guards, they do take time sometimes, don't they? And he shows flashes with his offense where the game seems to slow down a little bit and he's a bit more under control. There's games where he shoots threes and his defense is just fabulous. So, and then you've got Cole. I mean, Cole, I wax and wane. One day I think, he's 6th man of the year material, and at other times I think, is he really going to be what we need for a top 4 seed? So my worry is he thinks he's a starting shooting guard in the league and wants to be paid accordingly, and that might just have us over a barrel when come extension time. So if we could come to a number that is sensible and he's willing to play the role, then undoubtedly he looks a brilliant influence in the locker room. But that's just where I'd had my slight concerns, is that we overpay Cole. He doesn't quite deliver, a little bit inconsistent. His defense has improved, hasn't it? But his shooting and scoring is just a little bit inconsistent. So we're just that one piece away from a really heavy scorer or aggressive shooter, not Dylan Brooks style, but somebody that's actually competent. And then we're really laughing. But I think if we could just get a fit season next season with all the guys playing 60 to 70 games, I think we'd be in a really good spot to know where we are. And then I think it's the season after, because obviously Franz is going to be extension eligible, isn't he? We're going to start have to paying these guys, and then you want to know what you've got. So there's not much. I mean, I guess Tuma and Gary Harris are probably surplus to requirements. Do you need Gary Harris in the locker room? Possibly, but I don't really want him taking minutes away from the three guards that. I mean, you've got 96 minutes of guard minute, haven't you? So 32 each. sure that somebody will be injured, but I don't really want him sucking up too many minutes. And then it's down to the draft. I guess the big thing for me is, I mean, what happens if we do get number one? What do we do then? If we get Wembanyama, what would you take him just because he's a generational talent, or is there he's 7'4", 7'5"? Is he actually going to stay fit? Could we just dangle it in front of Dallas and say, "Do you fancy this?" and we'll take Luka off you? I know the numbers don't work, but there probably is a way. I'm not a sufficient cap expert, but if Dallas were willing to chat, would you?
Oh yeah.
Or would you just say, "Nah, we've got to have him"?
It's a really good question, mate. It's a really good question. I don't know. I think you'd have to just take him. I think the fact that Paolo and Franz are still 20 and 21 going into next season, you're not in a rush to go and make that move to go and get a Luka Doncic or a big name player. I think anybody that potentially passes on Wembanyama, that's your job on the line, isn't it?
It's not a GM longevity call, is it?
No, absolutely not, mate.
Yeah.
But
otherwise,
I would make the pick, and then you go from there. You see who rings you. You don't have to do anything. You do not have to do anything. That phone, if you've got the number one pick, is going to ring. You don't have to chase anyone. You can just sit and let them come to you.
Yeah.
And you draft him, you've got him in the bag, and you don't have to trade him year one, year two. You know, you can wait for the right player to become available as well. And the package.
Yeah.
There would be offers. There would be substantial offers come in.
Would there ever? Yeah.
I've been listening to stuff this week, and they've even Zach Lowe talked about it on his pod early in the week about Giannis for Wembanyama. Like, if you're Milwaukee, if you're not convinced that he's going to return, no, you obviously you're not going to trade Giannis. That's just ridiculous. But that idea has to be floated around. I mean, if you're talking at that sort of level for a player like Wembanyama, it's his name's going to be floated around with the best for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
We can do that. If you're telling me that we end up with Giannis.
But are you willing to give up Paolo and Franz?
No, but if it's
the difference, isn't it?
That's the thing. But if it's a case of where someone's going to straight up trade a superstar, and then you're just saying balance the books out with contracts that aren't Paolo and Franz, I'm listening.
Yeah.
That's what I would be, you know, maybe, I don't know, trading someone like Markel Fultz or something to balance the books. What was I just waited there, I was saying it, I was looking right at you, I said it.
I'm not biting.
No.
What would you consider your favourite memory as a fan of the Magic to be? Is it a particular game, a particular player?
I think there's probably two or three games I've actually been at. I mean, I mentioned the Warriors one earlier, which was just fantastic. For any number of reasons. And then in that 18-19 playoff run, I saw the Lakers before Christmas. Usual purple and gold everywhere, it drives you nuts. And then to beat them, and we absolutely hammered them. I did write down the score, 130, 117. Yeah, LeBron and all, so there's no excuses. It was brilliant. And Vooch got 36 points, which for me was just perfection. So that was a great night. But then later on in that playoff run, there was a Grizzlies game in early March, I think it was. And I think that's the best atmosphere I've ever witnessed at the Amway. And it went to overtime. I think Fournier had a couple of free throws, then missed a 3-point buzzer beater, went into overtime and won in overtime. But it was really electric, and I thought, wow, having seen some pretty flat atmospheres over the years, that was superb. So that was a great one. And then I guess from a not actually being there but following from afar, the DJ Augustine 3-point buzzer beater in the first game of the playoffs against the Raptors was fun. So yeah, but I think the three games I've been to, and then as a sort of single play, raise the roof, wake the kids up moment, that was up there. So yeah,
Awesome.
Good stuff.
So, Magic memorabilia, Howard. What's your favourite or one of your favourite Magic items that you've got in your collection?
Accumulate T-shirts like a lunatic. So there's a few, and a few game jerseys. Actually, probably the T-shirt would be one my daughter got made up for myself and my wife on our latest trip, and we're both Markel and Wendell fans. So she's got one. I've got it on, but I'm not about to disrobe. But there's Kel on the front, Dell on the back with the numbers and Let's Go Magic. So she's put quite a lot of work into it. So yeah, for sort of sentimental reasons, that's probably up there. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So let's talk about your current favourite players and your all-time favourite players.
Yeah. France. I've always got a European bias, so France would be current number one, and all time would be Vooch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a very poor day the day the trade was announced. Obviously, the way it's worked out, I've slightly resigned myself to it being a good thing. But yeah, I always loved him. Every time I heard him interviewed, enjoyed his game. Yes, we all know his deficiencies in many ways, but yeah, really enjoyed watching him play. Loved hearing him interviewed. He always seemed really balanced, really decent bloke, and European to be. So fantastic. Yeah. So he'd be up there. And actually, originally, Dwight Howard, which I know is probably not something you want to admit to in public these days. But if you can remove the last 6 years of his career or whatever it is, originally he was the one, and obviously with my first name and his surname, then that worked quite well. So we all had Howard T-shirts, which we all thought was hilarious, but minority of about 5, I think. But so yeah, those original T-shirts are a laugh. But yeah, don't wear them too often these days. But yeah, so yeah, I think Franz and Vooch would be my two.
Solid choices, I think.
What would be the all-time starting 5 then?
It'll be a little bit of a recency bias, as I say, because I've only really got 12, 13 years of proper fandom. And even more recency bias given the excitement at the moment. So I guess I'd have Vooch in as centre because I can't have Dwight Howard, and I'd have Paolo and Franz, and I toyed with point, but I probably will go Markel. With shout out to Jameer Nelson, but yeah, I think I'll go Markel, and then JJ Redick would be my shooter again. I've enjoyed him a lot. I've enjoyed him a lot. Obviously, he's got the Duke background and enjoyed his media stuff. And actually, when we those first years we saw him, he was pretty electric. So wouldn't mind a shooter like that on the roster at the moment. So yeah, slightly recent, I'm afraid. No Penny or Shaq, but that's where I'd go.
So jerseys, Howard. First of all, you said you got a few jerseys. You're more of a T-shirt guy. So what jerseys have you got, and what's your 3 favourite jerseys the Magic have worn all time?
I think I'm going to be in a minority here, but I do like the City Edition orange and black one, which I don't think was particularly popular. So I got a Vooch one of those, and I quite like the orange pinstripe white one where Cole hit at least one buzzer beater. So I've got a Cole one from that. So again, completely jumping on the moment. And then I'm probably white and blue pinstripe rather than the traditional black and blue. So that's my Franz one. But I have got a JI one. I've got one of the blue JI ones. I think that's probably. I don't like the Kingdom on the Rise. I don't really like the concept. I don't particularly like the design. No. I just think we're absolutely setting ourselves up for mockery if we're not careful on that. I think we could, the national media could leap all over that at some stage. So yeah, I'd like them to tone that down a bit. But I think I'm not sure about it.
Oh, that's cool. Good answers there, mate. No, I didn't put this in your agenda because I thought I'd just come to it, right? So I was just gonna say the story from when we were out there in January. I did say the story the first week I was back on the pod. Now, Howard's the Jumbotron loves him, shall we say, doesn't it?
It's difficult to believe looking at this screen.
So literally, the first time we met was in the shop, and then I think I went to Harry Buffalo's. We exchanged numbers, etc. So we went to our seats, etc. And Oblivious Cam comes on, and I can't remember what you were doing. And Amy turns to you and says,
"I've read about
it's that guy. It's your friend. It's your friend." And I'm like, is it? And I have a look, and Oblivious Cam, it's like 1 minute 30 on it at the moment. I think Howard's playing on his phone. I turned to him and I said, watch this. So I've sent him a message. I said, look up. I looked up. Big smile on your face, wasn't it?
Oh, dear.
So that was the second game. I was at the Boston game.
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
It was the Indiana game, I want to say.
Yeah. You
were on it again. Kiss Cam this time, wasn't it?
Yeah, humiliated on what? Yeah.
And this has happened before as well, hasn't it?
I got caught on Oblivious Cam on my own, which is classic, but not on Kiss Cam, thankfully. But yeah, Geraint didn't look particularly enthused at the prospect, did she, from memory? But
the good thing is they haven't had you when you've been by yourself and you've had that all by myself song.
Yeah, that's a great.
Always love that when they do that to the
opposition fans. Yeah,
that's it. Cool. Right. So let's just have a quick chat about the NBA playoffs, and in particular, Mr. Dylan Brooks, who we've touched upon a little bit earlier. So as we all know, the Grizzlies were unfortunately, I'll say that, eliminated on the weekend. I said something we were quite disappointed by as the LA Lakers advanced. But the Grizzlies have informed Dylan Brooks he will not be brought back under any circumstances. Gary, your thoughts on this one, mate?
I'll be honest, G, I'm not that disappointed by it. And it's not because I like the Lakers, because I don't. But I've said for a while about the Grizzlies. I think I even said last playoffs that I didn't like where they were as a team in terms of the personality. And I think if you look at how people were with the Kings getting eliminated by the Warriors, there was a lot of people rooting for the Kings in that game, despite the fact that I would say that the Warriors, Steph, etc., are a pretty popular big team, so to speak, a bit like the Bucks, that people like their star, that don't really get that offended outside of Draymond. And that should have been the Grizzlies. When you think about it, that should be a team like, I think it was Mikey said it before, the Grizzlies are a team we should look at. And you look at how that team's constructed, they haven't won before. They're not what you would call really a big market. They've got one of the most exciting players in the NBA. They've got, players who you look at and go, they could improve any roster. They've got guys like Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, who are fairly likable. You should be looking at that team going, that's a young team. It's up and coming. It's not a big market. I really want them to beat the Lakers. That should be a no-brainer on paper. And when you've got people like me sat there going, actually, I do want the Lakers to win that because of how the Grizzlies are. And I think it says a lot that, apparently Dylan Brooks has asked for a lot of money, but I think it's been coming. I was surprised at how they did it. I really was surprised at how it all came out. But by the same token, there's no real tears to be shed about the Grizzlies being out. And I'm interested to see where Dylan Brooks would land. Like, it's obviously going to depend on cap space, but if you were looking at a fit, are you looking at a team like New York, a team like Miami, who are going to be trying to push on next season? Miami seem to have the culture, as we've said before, this heat culture type thing, where are they going to be someone who brings them in? But it's going to take something of the team, I think, who are trying to either stay relevant, stay in the mix, or get over a hump, who will roll the dice on Brooks if they've got the cap space. But he's done himself no favors.
Can you see him joining the Lakers?
Would you say?
Be even more hating, wouldn't they?
Well, that would push the Lakers into being where the Grizzlies seem to be wanting to clean that organization up.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. But by the same token, you never say never. You never know what's going to happen. So could he join the Lakers? I don't know. Is he going to phone LeBron and apologize? You know, LeBron and Kyrie. LeBron and Kyrie apparently hated each other, and then they made up. And that was over an extended period. This is just a little series and a media spat. So it could be anyone, but it'll be a team, I think, who are trying to get over a hump or remain in the mix desperately. But it's going to take some management there, because his image, he now brings with him baggage to any organization. I don't think the Magic, given how we look at characters, would want to put Dylan Brooks in our locker room, despite us having the cap space to do it.
I can't see there being many suitors for him. I really can't.
It'll be desperation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said to you guys in our group chat, I could see him going to Houston or one of the Pistons or one of those teams near the bottom, or playing a role for a contender like the Lakers, who are full of players we don't like anyway. So he'd fit in just right there. The other thing is does to the Grizzlies, and I wonder whether they thought about this at the trade deadline. They've already got a ready-made replacement in Luke Kennard. They can slide him straight into that starting lineup next season and not really have to batter an eyelid that Dylan Brooks isn't there. They've got somebody that can spread the floor for them, which is all they need. So,
I think the plus-minus stats with Kennard were massively positive, weren't they, versus Brooks?
Yes, mate.
So, okay, Brooks provides you with really solid defense, but with all that baggage and the insane, out of control, inefficient shooting, why would you bother? I mean, yeah, agreed.
Two teams I could see throwing the dice on him. One would be Phoenix, where it's depending on what contract he can get. The one that's more of a wild card would be what the Bucks decide to do.
Brooklyn's my wild card for him.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. They just seem to throw money at just random people. Anyway, right, let's move on. So the Western Conference, at the moment, the Golden State Warriors are playing the LA Lakers in the semi-finals. The Lakers unfortunately stole home court in game one. So are they a serious threat in the West or not, Mr. Clark?
Unfortunately, they are, mate. They really are. Yeah, it was. Have you guys watched game one? I thought it's going to be a really...
Yeah.
I think it's going to go to 7 games. I really do. I think it's going to be a close series. The problem the Warriors have got is it's a bit of a bad matchup for them with the Lakers, because we saw it in game one. They put Jared Vanderbilt on Steph Curry for large parts of this game, and his length really caused him problems. And I know he's still... What did he walk away with? 27 points, in that game. He still really caused them a lot of problems. Klay Thompson had his struggles as well, which he did at the end of the Kings series as well. I think he started the game really well, but then he went missing for the second and third quarter. The Lakers are deep. That's the thing that really made a difference at the trade deadline, was going out and getting Vanderbilt and bringing in Hachimura. They've got several players that can light it up. D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder, all these guys can play a role around LeBron and AD. And the other thing is, watching the Kings series, is Kevon Looney really dominated the boards, whereas the Lakers have got a lot more length and a lot more size, and they can control the boards a little bit more with them. I think it's a bit more of an even matchup from that point of view. The Warriors created a lot of second chance opportunities in that King series, and I don't think they're going to get away with it in this one. And they're going to have to rely on their 3-point shooting to try and catch the Lakers off guard. And I think they're going to have to push the pace and rely on Andrew Wiggins playing a big role in this series. But yeah, unfortunately, the 3 teams we hate the most are all contenders, and it's hard to say it, but it's true. It really is true. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting series, but I hope the Warriors still find a way of beating the Lakers.
So the Suns, the Nuggets, they may be our only hope. So Howard, with the injury to Chris Paul, have the Suns enough to come back into this series now they're trailing 2-0 to the Nuggets, or can you see Denver just rolling them?
I'd be surprised if they rolled them. I mean, I think any team with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, yes, they've always got enough. Now, whether they can win 4 in 5, 4 in 6, what is it, 4 and 5? That's probably a big ask. Stating the blindingly obvious, but game 3 and 4, if the Nuggets can pick one of those, then I think it's series over. But if the Suns do come back, square it up, then it worries me that you might see some of the Nuggets' frailty. Jamal Murray, love him when he's great, but he can go missing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't trust AG to hit anything very much under pressure. And so it goes on. So the distance shooting is great when it's great, but is it reliable? Not sure. And personally, I hope that Jokic can just keep steering that ship, and he's got enough round him. And obviously 2-0 is a great start. So I'm optimistic. Yeah, I think probably Nuggets in 6, but it would worry me if the Suns came back strongly in game 3 without CP3 and Durant and Booker find something. Then it would worry me that the Nuggets' frailties might get exposed. But if they can put up one decent showing on Suns court, then with any luck we'll be there.
Yeah. From what I've seen on the box scores, I don't think Terence Ross has played much, has he? Anyone surprised at that?
At all.
Not really.
A little bit. I mean, I thought he might get a few spot minutes just to see if he can get going, but I guess we saw the worst of him towards the end, so you wouldn't be that surprised. But anyone with Bismack Biyombo as a serious playoff roster team, I mean, it has to be the worst hands I've ever seen in a Magic uniform. So I don't have much sympathy for that.
I wonder what happened to Suns in 4 guy. That's my big memory of Suns in 4.
Yeah.
He's still holding that dub though, isn't he?
He's probably still got the cameo channel going as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm not surprised that T. Ross isn't playing, because I think it was game 1 of the first round. I can't remember who the Nuggets played now. You have to remind me. But if you look at the box
Clippers,
score, especially the Clippers, Monty Williams was really tinkering around with the lineups, and I think there was several players that only played a few minutes here and there because he was trying to find something that worked. And I think, well, he's obviously still trying to find that, and he's got to make more changes with CP out. So somebody else is going to have to step up. So hopefully we can see a torch lighting, which would be good.
Yeah. Right, let's move on to the Eastern Conference. So I'm guessing everybody's caught up with all the games, because obviously the Sixers and the Celtics played last night. So Boston unfortunately blew out Philadelphia, who had Joel Embiid back. So both outcomes were kind of what you expected the other game to be, with Embiid not playing the first game and then Philly getting the win, and then Embiid playing the second game, and Boston just annihilating them. Any thoughts on this one, Mikey?
First one, I thought James Harden was washed up. I thought he was on his way out, and that game 1 performance was right up there with Steph Curry's against the Kings. He was superb, and probably one of the best games we'll ever see him play in the playoffs. Like you said, I don't think we ever saw them winning without Embiid, but they did. They found a way of getting it done at the end. And then I watched the highlights of last night's game 2, when I got home, and it was pretty easy pickings for Boston once they got going. And they had a 30-point lead at one point, and really battered them. I was actually surprised to see Embiid play game 2. I thought they could have bought themselves a couple more days and let him have a little bit more rest, ready to head home, because at the end of the day they've already stole home court at the moment, and they obviously smelt blood and thought they could go for game 2 and go home with an advantage, but it hasn't worked out like that. But it's still in Philly's court at the moment, but we know how dangerous Boston can be. We'll see. But like you said, the outcomes were very different than what we thought they would.
They were. And I mean, Jason Tatum had a bad game last night, didn't he? I haven't got his shooting figures in front of me, but I know they weren't great. But obviously, the rest of the cast carried them. So the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat are currently tied 1-1 after Tuesday night's game. But they've had a lot of key players in and out of lineups. Jimmy Butler didn't play game 2. How do you see this one shaking out, Gary?
I think if Jimmy Butler's healthy, the Heat win. You know, that game, my understanding was that Brunson and Randall were very doubtful for the game. They both played. Now, how healthy they were, that's not information we'd have access to, but it wasn't really a convincing win over a Jimmy Butlerless Miami Heat. So I think if you add Jimmy Butler to the team and he plays both games in Miami, I don't think the Knicks are going to win that series. I think Miami are better than them in a playoff series. And as it goes, I don't think Miami are anything fantastic. But Jimmy Butler in a playoff series is a bit different. So Butler plays, I'm going to be on the Heat for that. And I think, sorry, G, you're going to get a Heat Celtics Lakers Nuggets Final Four.
As long as Denver win it all, mate, I'm good. Oh God. Anyway, Howard, who do you see in the finals, mate, and who do you want, and the eventual winner?
I think it'll be Nuggets Celtics, and yeah, I'll have to go Nuggets. Well, I think it's heart ruling head probably, but yeah, let's have that small market win. Yeah, I think they've got reasonable depth. They've got arguably the form player who's not injured at the moment. Celtics have shown enough frailty. Hopefully, the Sixers will take them to 6 or 7 and at least put some miles on them. And then with any luck, we can be celebrating the Nuggets and Jokic back to his horses in Serbia for the summer. So yeah, that would do me nicely. It's the best of a very bad lot.
It is a bit, isn't it? It is. Right, whilst you've been talking there, I've been trying to come up with a trivia quiz because I forgot to put one in this week, but I've got one. Right, it's just a very quick one, okay? So, between LeBron James and Tim Duncan in their entire seasons, in the playoffs, they have beaten 29 different franchises. Which franchise have they not beaten?
Oh, wow.
Mikey, you be quiet.
Sacramento.
You probably know this.
Oh, no, sorry, LeBron James, you said that.
So between LeBron James and Tim Duncan, which franchise have they never beaten?
Orlando?
Yeah.
I was looking at the goal, this is too obvious. I was like, sat there, I was going to canopy.
Obviously, Tim Duncan's never played against the Magic, been in the Western Conference, and then you've got LeBron, who's never beaten the Magic. So, yeah, well done. Right then, so I think that'll wrap it up. So thank you, as always, for listening and watching. Thank you, Howard, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Hope you've had a good time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Good stuff. So yeah, please help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Orlando Magic UK. Don't forget, you can, if you want to do some shopping, you can go on NBA Store EU and Fanatics using the code Magic UK 10. You can get 10% off your entire order. There may be better codes on there, so just please have a look. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, all at Orlando Magic UK. So from Gary, Mikey, Howard and myself, until next week, go Magic.